Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Tonight's title: God didn't show up, so I moved on. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. As I just said, the title of today is God didn't show up, so I moved on. I spent years following the rules and believing if I just did everything right in life, I would that life would take care of me. That's what they told me anyway. Be good and obey, and you'll be blessed. Hang on just a second, guys. Sorry, guys. But let me tell you something. Life doesn't give a damn what faith you are. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you have that's yours. And 2019, I was hit with a diagnosis. And for the longest time, it bothered me a lot. And it was devastating to me. I watched people not follow the rules of life, and they get ahead. And I always was the one. Sorry, guys, I don't want my mic blowing y'all out. It looks like it's trying to. But the diagnosis, I'm not a doctor, so, but it had to do with my heart. And it's called prolonged QT. And I was having chest pains and was going to the hospital constantly. And the ER doctor caught it, put me in the hospital, and that's the thing is what I had didn't cause chest pains, and it wore at me for years. Actually, up until about a few months ago. It bothered me because I had to monitor what I take, what I don't. Here I am. I've done everything in my life to be straight and narrow and not get into trouble, and I was like, what the hell? I've done everything by what a book told me. You know, I went. I've discussed this along, but I finally realized it was a delusion that I felt if I did everything perfectly right, that I wouldn't have any problems. And you know, I've seen good people struggling, trying to get ahead, and people get crushed under the weight of a system that's not conducive. And I had been avoiding my whole life. Why am I still holding onto this crap? And, you know, it's not faint at heart that people do this. A lot of people will either turn one way or to the other. Um, the raw truth about it is the moment I stopped believing what I missed about faith, what I don't miss, and what I've learned and what I'm living without now. Um, there's a breaking point. There's a breaking point to where, like, I literally tried and did everything. I prayed. I fought to believe. I told myself everything was happened for a reason and God has a plan. But at some point, you have to stop making excuses and start seeing things for what they really are. I'll tell you this, and people will say, "You're atheist." Yeah, I am. But when I let go of religion, I become more spiritual. And let me explain this to you as best as I can. When I became atheist, I started praying to the people that I knew was real. That's what I did. And it seems that the people that had been real in my life, my nanny, my dad, my Uncle Johnny, my ancestors, they gave me my answers. And I had to trust that. Some of y'all will say, no, you're full of shit. And that's fine. That's fine. I've explained my story to atheists and they're like, wow. And they don't know what to say. I don't know either. When my mom passed away, and then my aunt passed away, this house that you see me in, I grew up here. I have a lot of memories here. I have a lot of things that I've changed. The studio you see me in, this was my aunt's bedroom. We had our computer set up right here. It actually faced that way instead of this way. But I didn't know I was going to get this house. Technically, it's my wife's house because, well, my cousin has set it up that way. Which is fine. It's fine. It doesn't bother me one bit. Because I still got the reins of this thing. And the last year, actually within the last 6 months, I have slowly morphed it into me and my family. There's some things that were my aunt's that I've left up. There's some of the things that I've repurposed. There's stuff that she has that's gaudy as good. I just can't stand it. But I didn't know I was going to get this house. But when I found out she had passed away, I was like, please, I need this. I do. I need this. I need the stableness of this. And this is what's helped me push through this podcast so long. And I look at it as a blessing because there, like I said, there's things here that was my aunt's. And I repurposed them or done something with them. And I've made it my own. Because this is me. This is my... All the things that I wanted to do when I was younger, guess what? I can do now. And... you know, maybe God is doing whatever with me. Like I said, I saw people cheating the system and lying their way to success and getting away with things they couldn't even. I don't understand. Things that would have ruined us for me for the rest of my life. Just get away with it. A lot of it because their parents had money or they knew somebody or and then there's others that get thrown into prison for something that they didn't even do. Or they were there at the wrong time and it just didn't make sense to me. And I feel like it was all rigged. It seems like it's rigged for people. I turned to scripture looking for answers, trying to find what was going on. And I brought this up before. When Jesus was on the cross, there was two other people beside him. And the one just asked him to remember him. And Jesus said, "You'll be with me today in paradise." He didn't ask him to forgive him over anything he's done. And I would tell you where that I think it's in Matthew. I can't remember. And so even Jesus Christ, he got screwed over. What's the faith worth? I wasn't angry and I wasn't bitter. I just knew I didn't believe anymore. And that's hard for some people to believe because they have the family with church. And look, be honest with you, I don't miss the God thing. I don't. I miss the connections. I will say this about religion and churches. If you go there faithfully, they will take care of you. They will. My aunt got sick several times throughout her life, and her church was her lifeline. She got sick one time with the shingles and some other things. She didn't have to cook. She didn't have. They came over and helped her clean and get picked her meals for her. They did everything for her. And that's what I miss about church. And but see, church should not be about a yes, it's a belief. It's something to make people feel connected to each other. And I understand that. And I do miss that. I miss going to church and saying, "Oh, how are you doing? What's going on in your week?" Or a lot of the old timers, "Hey, young man, how are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on in your life?" And you know, there is something about that. Um, but it's the hypocrisy and it's the cherry picking of scripture because it's whatever the preacher wants to push. It's Jesus taught generosity, selflessness, and kindness. But have you ever always seen the loudest Christian are usually the ones ignoring exactly all those teachings? And it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse since all this crap that's going on in our country. It's Christians versus atheists, and there's Christians that are on the side of atheists, and atheist. It's just crazy. And you know, if I had money, I wouldn't just hand it out. I would teach people how to stand on their own and how to build something for themselves. And because that's the real help, not charity, it's empowerment. I wish I would have asked the right questions within church. Um, Especially to the old timers. Because I think that they really did understand that they were worth something. I grew up not understanding that. And Adam Savage says this best is when you're young, you have all the time in the world and it's worth less. But as you get older, you finally realize that your time is worth a lot more. And that is so true. If I would have known that that little tidbit of information, but I didn't see it like that. I felt like I was stealing. I should have asked for more money. I should have asked for more something from the companies I worked for. And maybe I would have, but you know what? I wouldn't be doing this. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I can't tell you how much more at ease I am. So a lot of people have come to me and they've asked me for advice when they're questioning their faith. And my advice, question everything. And brace yourself, because when you start questioning and people don't like it, you will lose friends, family, and it will hurt. But you have to ask those questions. You have to ask those questions. But one thing there is, people who truly love you will stay. The ones only loved you because you believed. And they never really was yours to begin with. The people that get closer to you for you questioning what you believe, they will stick beside you. They will stay by your side for your whole life. Because they want to see you succeed. And listen, y'all, you don't have to go all the way. If you're not ready to leave your faith, that's fine. Find a version, go to a different church, or different group that see things like you. Man, this thing's out of control. Hello. Man, I hope it's not blasting y'all's ears, because I'm talking low. But you don't have to go to a church. There's thousands, millions, and there's a place. If that's what you need, then do it. I've thought about several times just going to church just because, but I just can't. But you have to remember, they can't tell you who you are. They can't tell you how to believe. They can persuade you. The truth doesn't mean blind obedience. If it holds up to your scrutiny, Keith, then. But a lot of people that get that way, they're afraid of the answers. They're afraid because everything that they've been taught, everything that they've been told, everything that is all about their whole life is when they question it and they find the answer and it's a different answer than what they believe. And people get scared of that. I did for the longest time. Like I said, if you need God or a figure, you do it. I'm not gonna deny that. I have a family member, and he grew up in the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he's one of my native. We're very close, and he went through this thing of, I have a Navy Cross that's over there. I just haven't hung it back up. And he's like, well, some natives think that is offensive. It's a Navy Cross, buddy. I served. I tried my best to serve. It's the Navy Cross. You're not going to tell me I can't have a cross in my own house. I had it hanging up. I had it hanging up in my living room. And the only reason he saw it is because I was sitting in my chair on a Facebook call. And he wanted to give me hell about it. I told him straight up, dude, this is my house. Yeah, on my front door, I have a no soliciting sign. It says strictly no religion too. Doesn't mean I can't have a cross in my house. I just don't want somebody coming to my house selling me life insurance or afterlife insurance when I've heard it all too often. So take with that is what you want. And so, that's just the way I go. Number 4 question is, what happens after we die? I used to be terrified of it. I mean, come on, eternity, heaven or hell, that's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Now, I don't care. I don't spend my days wondering about the afterlife. I focus on what's going on now, today, who I can help, what I can create, heaven or hell. Not my problem. Wasting my time here, that's my problem. And so people ask me, what happens when you die? I don't know. And I'm good with that. I'm totally good with it. Because what really matters, those people behind me on that board, my mom, my dad, my aunt, my wife, my kids, even my brother, they mean the world to me. They meant the world to me. I was privileged to share my life with them. I was privileged. Even though I had to go through a lot of hell. Me and my aunt. I'm sure glad I let all that out before she passed. Because I would have been a wreck. I'm going to say something right now because I think it's warranted. My cousin, my aunt's son, I'm not a doctor. So YouTube, please don't think I'm giving out medical advice, but I'm not. Something was wrong and my cousin and his wife couldn't have kids. They had to go scientific. I don't know how many dollars, really don't, just to get their son here. Now their son, he's in his mid-20s. He's got 3 kids, and it don't look like he's gonna stop anytime soon. So all that money they spent, but my aunt, his grandma, the crap that he did to her, that wouldn't have flied with me if I would have done it. It wouldn't have flow anywhere. She let him walk all over her. This house, there was no doorknobs on any of the doors. There's holes that I've had to repair and still need to repair from him. That crap wouldn't have flown with her, with me. But she allowed it with him. And she passed away without him settling the score. And now he feels horrible about it. See, that's the thing with me. I try to settle the things that I've done in my past. And I'm not perfect at all. But you can ask my wife, you can ask my kids. Am I the same person I was 20 years ago? The essence of me, yeah. I've always been a respectful person. But there's some stuff that I should have taken a little bit more consideration. Now, is the things that I did warranted? Yeah. And at the time, yeah. But, you know, I settled it. I settled my issues with my aunt. And I was rewarded. $15 ago, it wasn't worth it. I wasn't worth it. And I wasn't ready for it. I've told y'all there's things that I've made and have no clue on why I made them. But I made them. Tell you a story. So, I don't know if I haven't showed the rest of the studio because it's really not that. I'm still working on it. And I'll explain what I'm going to here in a minute too, because I've got some updates on what's going on with next season. There's things that I made and things that I'm now taking and using. And you don't know what they're used for until later on in life. You don't know. There's something in your life that you've done in your past, good or bad. It could be an object, or it could be a mental thought, or it could be anything. And being, you just make it or something. You make it, okay? You make something. That's what I made my first staff, and it looked really dorky. But I still had it. And today, I was playing around with the studio, and I told Steph, I said, I don't know what I want to do with this thing, since, I gave it to my daughter, and she did something weird with it. And she's like, well, why don't you cut it up and build something out of it, something else. And so on the other side, that way, I'm going to have to fix you. She's like, well, why don't you use it to make a shelf? So I got my desk or whatever. And I went out there and cut it into fours. And it wasn't level. It's not equal at any. It's not level. I don't care. It looks funny. It looks cool to me. And I made it. Part of the shelf is part on my desk, and it's, I still have to screw it down. But I was going to just. Hang on, guys. Okay. But I was going to do something with it. She's like, you should do it like that. So I did. You never know why you make something, and then later on in life, it brings you joy, brings you happiness. So, and this goes by do we create our own meaning? Yes, we do. Like I said, we make it, things happen, and you don't know what it's for. You're making your future. Being a hardcore Christian held me back. I put myself last on everything. And I thought I was doing the right thing, but in reality, I was just burying myself. I was holding myself back to the person I look in the mirror every day. I look in my mirror every day. And I look at myself in the past, and I'm like, yeah, my beard's getting longer. I'm getting grayer. I'm getting slower. But you know what? Becoming atheist was the best thing that happened to me. And yeah, I've gotten a lot harder, and it's hardened me. But I needed to get that hard. I needed to be harder. Stop letting people take advantage of me. And me taking advantage of my own damn self. You have to stop pouring from an empty cup. You have to, or you can't survive. And I understand now that I need to be taking care of myself. That is part of my equation of my life. Yeah, I have kids, and yeah, I have Steph, and I have my brother. It doesn't all exist unless I'm here. That's why I always say, if you do something just for yourself, it's really not worth it. But if it's for the betterment of everybody, then you better do it. And it rings true with myself. Me being a better person now is I can I can put videos up and talk. Everybody, you should have been a preacher. You should have been a preacher. Well, kinda I am. In the sense that I don't preach like a Christian preacher preaches. But I mean, I do, and that's the thing. I get along with Christians. They're people. They have their own beliefs, and I have mine. And that's fine. That is fine. So, and I'm gonna leave you with this. What have I learned since leaving faith? Losing faith wasn't a rebellion, it was awakening for me. It allowed me to wake up and realize faith didn't bring any justice. Letting go of the idea of suffering as holiness. I found morals weren't tied to a religion. And I stopped fearing death and I started focusing on life. And if you're listening to this and you're struggling with your faith, I want you to hear me loud and clear. You're not alone. You are allowed to question and you're allowed to seek your own truth. And whatever path you choose, you make sure that it feels real for you. Drop me a comment and share your story. And let's leave this let's do this conversation because your story matters too. Hey guys, remember, you're not alone. You're not alone.